Hello, YouTube. Um, just making a quick video on my thoughts on Netflix's Cuties. Um, I know what the consensus on YouTube already is. Uh, I do feel it's an inappropriate movie. Um, I did watch it, so that's how I wanted to take my review. I just didn't want to make comments on a movie that I'm being told what's out there. I actually took a moment and watched it and formed my own opinion on it. And my initial reaction was um, the comments I was hearing felt a little exaggerated. But let me go into that slightly. When I watched it, I did not enjoy the movie. I think it's mediocre at best. I do feel it's very inappropriate, but a lot of what I was hearing, um, I guess I was expecting a little more vulgarity or um, not so much nudity, but close to it. And you know, the dancing is very inappropriate. If I was to have a daughter, in no way would I ever want her at that age to be dancing that way. And even as an adult, I would be embarrassed if she danced that way. But, well, at that point, adults are going to do what adults are going to do. So, who am I to speak on that part? I would just hope that if I had an adult daughter, she would just not go in that direction. Um, and that was my initial reaction. Inappropriate. Um, the movie is not very good. Um, Character development is horrible. I never feel for the characters. If anything, the girls um, annoy me quite a bit. It's just that's the best that I get from it. Um, One of the main characters, I think they should have went a little further with, and I also think it would have drove home what the main focus of the movie, from what the people who are justifying the movie are trying to say that it was about, is the friend of the main character. I think they could have focused a little more on her, because my feelings and what I got from the movie, it just feels that she's being abused, and that's why she's reacting in that way. That's just the feelings I got from it. They never touch on it or anything like that, and I think that would have driven home a little more the message. Where you could have been on two focuses, where one is a reaction from the main character who's retaliating against um, um, the Muslim religious structure, where spoiler alert, she's upset that her father is taking on a second wife, and it feels that she's also disappointed in her mother for not fighting against her father getting a second wife. But they don't really develop the characters very well, so it just comes off as mediocre. I know that um, Abba and Preach, they gave the film a better review, and I think one of the guys from Abba and Preach. I don't know who's Abba and who's Preach, or if that's even their names. But I think one of them is African, and maybe he feels a closer connection to the characters because of that. And this is just a guess, because I also saw Shoe on Head, and she also said that the film was mediocre. So I'm not the only one that has actually watched the movie and come away thinking that it just wasn't very good. It's not a good movie. If the characters were older, I still wouldn't recommend it, just because I have no feeling for the characters. The dancing that's done on there is very, very adult. The clothing is, a little risque. And, my initial thoughts of it, where I was, kind of like, it's a little bit exaggerated. But that was from my frame of thinking. The other part is that once I saw the reviewer, and I'm sure all of you guys have seen it, where he started talking about the girls being hot. And that's what the film was trying to portray. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. I am disabled, so, please bear with me. When I saw that, that's when I turned back. I'm like, well, okay. Hold on there. I'm taking it from my aspect, where I'm an everyday guy, or at least what I hope everyday guys are like, where I don't find children attractive, where like I said, the characters annoyed me. If I was to see little girls like this, I would probably, roll my eyes. I was taking it from that aspect. And really the backlash wasn't from that. It was a backlash towards people like the reviewer, who sat there and thought these girls were hot. And so that's where I have to, backtrack a little and say, like, okay. Once we go there, it's inappropriate what they're doing. And if I found that kind of stuff attractive, I guess it would be driving me wild. And once I put myself in that mindset, then yes, this movie is horrible. It's absolutely horrible. Essentially, what the writer did by trying to highlight this aspect of it was to shed light by exploiting children, and then giving pedophiles essentially what they want. And the only positive thing that I could even say is that, well, I guess some of them are coming out of the woodwork, so we can keep an eye on them. Hopefully, the FBI is, or whatever task force there is to looking into finding pedophiles, is able to keep tabs on them now. But this movie should not be out there. Look at the reviewer. When he's sitting there, it's like his mouth is watering, where you can see like spit coming from his mouth when he's talking about how hot they are, just thinking about the movie. And that's not right. Slightly off topic, growing up, I had a friend who had a young sister, and I was in my early 20s, so it's not like I was super old. And she was telling me how she was 15, and she was telling me how, she doesn't like boys her age because they're very immature and so on and so forth. And her boyfriend at the time, I believe, was like 26, older than I was at the time. And I told her, well, that's all fine and good, but the part that you're not thinking about is that your boyfriend is not supposed to like kids. So what is wrong with him and to even consider dating you. And I could tell I got to her because she stopped. She started thinking, and was had an upset look on her face because there wasn't much she could say to me to even justify her boyfriend's actions. But to tie it into the Netflix Cuties, is that's just it. Is that this movie is, candy to pedophiles. They're enjoying it for all the wrong reasons. And all the writer did was just make a movie for them. So I'm very disappointed in Netflix, but that's not going to say much. I highly doubt that Netflix even cares. I'm disappointed in the writer. What were you thinking? You should have thought about it further and made a better story. And even then, a better story in general, because like I said, character development just was not there. And, I guess sometimes we always feel that these large corporations don't always think. I mean, how often is there's just those funny moments where it's like, how did that slip through the cracks? And this is just one of those slip through the cracks, but Netflix is digging in their heels. I didn't write any of these thoughts down, so I apologize if I'm rambling. And that's my review on it. Form your own opinion. But if you're looking for a movie to watch and you want a recommendation, watch a different movie. Unless you want to form your own opinion on the controversy of the movie, then okay, do so. That way you don't sit here and say that, people can't claim that you were manipulated on your thoughts. But it's just not a good movie. Don't waste your time. That's just an opinion. Find something else to watch. There are better movies on Netflix. This isn't one worth watching. So that's going to wrap it up for me, guys. Once again, I apologize if I was rambling, but Netflix's Cuties. The controversy is deserved. It's just not a good movie either, so I have no idea why he even won awards. I'm assuming because, this is 2020 is the year of, trying to, lift up minorities undeservingly. And this is coming from a Mexican American. So, I am one of those minorities that, they're trying to, lift up in, cases where it's not necessarily deserved. So, thank you guys, and you guys have a wonderful day.